Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have Flamingo Dollar Tree DIYs for you. I'm going to start off by decorating my coffee bar in flamingos, and I also have a flamingo tiered tray DIY today. So this is my coffee bar between my kitchen and my dining area in my house, and I want to decorate it in flamingos. I think that will be really fun. Tropical. This was kind of my inspiration piece, the sign I got from the Dollar Tree. It says, "Welcome to Paradise," and I want to make a nice large sign for my top shelf. Now, I wanted to see if I could try to frame it because it's a little bow, those Dollar Tree signs can be. And I was going to DIY a frame, but I thought, you know what? They have these 11 by 14 frames from the Dollar Tree, and it's just a little bit wider than I need it to be. But I was thinking maybe I could cut it down to size, and that would be an easier way to DIY a frame. It's going to take that cheap Dollar Tree sign and make it look way more high end by framing it. So I just open it up, take the glass out, leaving the staples on to secure the sign in there. And it is the perfect height. Like, look at this. Now I just need to make the frame skinnier. So what I'm going to do is just mark off little diagonal lines here that end right at the sign, and I can take this to my saw and cut that down to size and then reattach the other side. But first I need to pull that off. I tried to do that with as little damage as possible, pulling that off the little brackets that are inside. I take it to my saw and cut it down. Now I don't get my miters perfect here, but I got it pretty close, and I think that it worked out pretty well. So I just removed the staple that was hanging out of that one. We can use some hot glue to reattach this side of the frame. And I'm also going to use a staple to reinforce it too. You have to be careful though. These Dollar Tree frames are kind of thin as well, as you can see. It's really kind of unstable until I put the other sign in it. And then that really made it a lot sturdier. So the combination was really great. And I'm glad I thought about this because it's a lot easier than DIYing a new frame for this. I did not get my corners great. I'm going to show you how I go about kind of disguising those in just a second. But let's go ahead and pop the little "Welcome to Paradise" sign in here. I love it. It's green and tropical. Pretty flamingos on there. And it's just what I want on my coffee bar for summer. So I just add a few staples here in the corners just to help reinforce that and make it stronger. And then what I'm going to do is try to fill in that gap that I have there in the corners. I'm going to use a little bit of wood glue, and then I'm just going to take some sawdust. I just used my saw, so I had some sawdust over at my saw, and that's a good way to fill wood cracks like that if you do not have any wood filler on hand and it matches the tone of the wood, and that seemed to work pretty well. So I'm going to do that here on the other corner as well and just try to make it look a little better. I love the "Welcome to Paradise" sign. It's got the green tropical leaves, it's got the pink flamingos, and that is the theme we're going for my new coffee bar for summer. Here's a little closer look of how it turned out. I put this up on my top shelf since it's nice and large, and it really takes up a lot of area up there, so we're not going to need a lot for the top shelf, as you can see. I do want it to have a tropical leaf background, and so I'm going to use one of these Monstera leaves from the Dollar Tree. This is a placemat, and I thought it would be really fun to hang this on the wall. It'd be a great backdrop for a pink flamingo. So I just used some tiny nails and attached that to my coffee bar wall for a backdrop, and it is the perfect size to fill that up. I really love the way this is coming together. Now I wanted to do a pink flamingo DIY here, and I wanted to have a pink flamingo, have him standing up and holding a cup of coffee. Now, this one includes a crafting fail. I know you guys love crafting fails, so I decided to keep it in because, oh man, this is one of my worst ones in a while. But let me show you all of the steps that we took. It's already pink, but I used a candy pink here to just distress it with a little makeup sponge. And that's just going to give the feathers like a little bit more detail and make it two-toned. And I'm going to do that on the front and the back because this is going to be a freestanding flamingo and you might be able to see it from all the directions. And I'm just rubbing that sponge all over the feathers and just slightly distressing it all over. And I like the two different shades of pink. We're going to be painting a couple of different pink flamingos because there's different species and they have different colorations and stuff as well. So this one I'm doing kind of the traditional colors that this is already made in with like the orange yellow beak, but two different kinds of pink. Now what I wanted to do was I wanted to make a pink flamingo standing on one leg, like they do. And then with the other leg, I wanted him to be holding a cup of coffee. Now, this might have been my first mistake. I cut my wood dowel in half for the leg and glued on one of the pearls from the Dollar Tree with some hot glue because I wanted him to have little knobby knees like flamingos do. I kind of wish I hadn't added the pearl. I think that this would have been stronger if I hadn't added that, but this is how I originally created this guy. So that is his first leg. I'm just going to add a little bit of extra hot glue just to make sure I can get it as strong as possible. And then I am going to go in with some Model Magic and sculpt some legs as well. For this second leg, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half too. I wanted this leg to be bent and holding the cup of coffee. And so again, I'm going to add just a pearl here at the joint. And this time I'm going to do like a 90-degree angle on this leg because I wanted it to be bent. Now, I spent a good amount of time making this one, and then you'll see, you're going to see what happened. So this is the Model Magic that I'm going to use to sculpt the flamingo legs. And I don't think that this is the problem at all because the structure of the legs was the wood dowels. I'm thinking that my only real problem was having it hold something and using the pearls. I probably should have just left that because I could have sculpted the little knobby knee with the Model Magic itself and not mess with the structure of the leg. So lesson learned. But what I'm doing is just covering the entire leg with Model Magic. I just got the white kind. You can get this at Dollar Tree. You can also get it at Dollar General for only $1, so it's cheaper there. And it stiffens up into a harder foam. It doesn't ever get really hard, but you can paint it and it's really fun to craft with. So I'm going to cover the entire leg except for the very ends because one is going to go inside the wood sign and one is going to go inside the flamingo there. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with our second leg. I just start right here in the middle and sculpt that around and cover the entire thing with this. Now, it does set up a little bit. You can paint it before it sets up. I've done that before and I've never really had any problems. I've actually made like a sea monster attacking a haunted beach house with this stuff. I love it. It's so fun. And I'm just going to cover almost all of this as well. I'm even going to sculpt a little flamingo foot out of this stuff. So I'm going to have one leg go back, one leg go forward like this. I'm always looking for creative ways to replace the legs on these pink flamingos because the wire ones that come with them from the Dollar Tree are not great. I just put a little bulbous area here at the end. Now, a flamingo foot is pretty easy. They have 3 toes, so I'm just going to flatten that and sculpt that into a little flamingo foot that I wanted to hold a cup of coffee. I thought that'd be really whimsical and cute. The coffee, I ended up not being able to do, and you'll see that here in just a minute. Now, they already had like holes that were side by side. I want one to be in the front and one to be in the back. And so I just poked new holes in here. This is going to be the centered one. This is going to be the structure of my flamingo. And I had just poked a hole and then cut a little X in it with my razor blade and then attached it with some hot glue. And then I'm going to put the other leg here, the one that's bent. Again, I just poke a hole, cut a little X shape in there, add some hot glue, and add this leg as well. So I want that one to go like that so it can hold something. I reinforced it with a little bit of hot glue, and this is what it looks like so far. It's looking cute. Now for the base, I just had a piece of scrap wood. I'm going to drill a hole. I have a drill bit that is almost the perfect size for those wood dowels from the Dollar Tree. I use it all the time for that. And I want this to be covered with greenery. And so I'm just going to go over the entire thing, the top, all of the sides with just a leaf green acrylic paint, just so it'll kind of blend into the greenery that we're going to add to that later. And then I wanted to paint the little flamingo legs. I wanted to try to get a color that was relatively close to the beak color, like that yellowish orange color. So I mixed a yellow and orange together until I got a color that was similar. And I'm just going to use that to paint all of my model magic, trying to be careful because it hadn't completely gotten a chance to harden up. And painting that here, all the different sides, because again, it's going to be a little freestanding pink flamingo. So it's going to be up on my coffee bar shelf. You're going to be able to see it from all directions. I painted the second leg the same way, and even the little foot, switching to a brush to try to get some of the more detailed painting here. And I think that looks pretty good. So that is the species of flamingo that we're using. I think my son said there's 7 different species, something like that, maybe 6. And I'm gonna hot glue into the hole that we drilled and then just add the flamingo in there, just like that. Now, it was at this point that I started having stability concerns that it wasn't going to be strong enough to hold up the coffee. So, what I did was take another dowel and I cut it down in half that where I could put a little support beam under the other leg so it would have really 2 legs underneath of it. So, this was kind of a last minute attempt to try to save this project. And so I just used hot glue to attach it just like that, just to hold up his arm. I thought that that would make it stronger. Now that I have that in there, this is what it looks like so far. I wanted to paint it green so it would blend into everything else we have here at the bottom, and I can always put like some greenery in front of it so you won't be able to see it holding up the little flamingo leg. Now, this is the cup of coffee. It is a lip balm that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's a strawberry frappuccino, but I thought we could make this look like coffee. I do want to remove the sticker so we can paint it brown instead of this bright red color because I want it to look like a cappuccino. And I am going to just peel that off. It did have a lot of sticky adhesive on there, so I had to use some Goo Gone to really get that off. It's also got lip balm in there, which makes it a little bit heavier than I want it to be. So once I get all the adhesive off there, I just actually take the lip balm out just so that it will make it even a little bit lighter for the flamingo to hold. So I just screw that up and take the lip balm right out. Just like that. And it's a great source of a little miniature item from the Dollar Tree for sure. I'm going to paint it brown. I want it to look kind of like coffee. So I mix like a brown and a gold color together, trying to get like a coffee with creamer look here. And then I'm just going to use that sponge to paint the little coffee cup. I'm going to leave the top as is. It has a blue straw with like white foam on top. I just need to try to mask this red and make it brown. Now, I did have a little bit of trouble covering it. I probably should have painted it white first because, you know, anytime you paint over red, it does take way more coats than you think it's going to take because it always shows through a little bit like that. But I just went all over the cup and even the bottom of it because I was thinking it's going to be on the top shelf. You're going to be able to see in there too. I let that dry and then I went over it with a second coat to really try to cover up all of that red. I was worried there for a minute it wasn't going to paint. I probably should have used some spray paint for it. That might have been a little bit easier. I'm not sure. But I did have to go over it with multiple coats, as you can see. And then once it's dry, I can pop the lid back on it. Look at that, a little miniature cup of coffee. And I want it to be held by the pink flamingo. So I wanted that, the reason I put the foot straight out like that is so that it could hold it. So I just attached a little hot glue here to the coffee and put it in the little flamingo's foot where it looks like it's holding it. Very whimsical and fun. And I really love the look of the flamingo legs. They look just like flamingo legs. So I was really happy with them so far. Now for the tropical leaves, I wanted to cover the base of this with some tropical leaves from the Dollar Tree. I think these are really cute. I'm going to have it in front of that large leaf on the back, but I also wanted lots of foliage here on the bottom because definitely pink flamingos and tropical leaves are going to be the theme for this coffee bar. So I just cut the pieces into individual pieces. The first one I used to cover that little support beam that we added to our flamingo to try to make it sturdier. And then if you find that your Dollar Tree florals are all bent up like this, if you use your heat gun or if you don't have one, a blow dryer on them, it just makes them look amazing. It totally fixes that problem. And then I'm going to just kind of scatter these around going in all different directions and just attaching them with a little bit of hot glue to cover the base. Now, this was the final step in this DIY, and I took this to my coffee bar and I put it up on the top shelf where I planned to put it. I did not even get a chance to take a picture of it until it broke. I was so horrified. It broke. And I was like, I can't save this, but I'm going to try. So let me show you how I go about fixing it. I just removed all of my hard work, my great flamingo legs. They just were not strong enough the way I had it built. And so we're going to have to try again. I just re-drill a hole here in the base sign. And I'm just going to have to do something else for the legs. Now, at this point, I was like, I'm not resculpting those legs because this might not work as well. So what I'm going to do is just use the wood dowels. They still look better than the wires that come with the Dollar Tree. And I've done that before a lot to make flamingo legs, and they always seem really sturdy. So I'm going to go ahead and drill both holes, though, this time. So I'm going to drill the other hole here. That's something that I wasn't able to do with that brace that we added before. And I think my original plan would work if I hadn't used the little pearls and if I had made the bent leg maybe differently, like attached it like this first. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and remove the tropical leaves here just because they're kind of in the way, and we can start putting this together. So I'm going to first attach this with hot glue. I didn't want anything to get in the way of the hot glue and the wood, and I want that to be as sturdy as possible. I'm going to paint it the same color, so I mix some yellow and orange together and just paint the wood dowels, and we're not going to have any knees, we're not going to have any feet. There's going to be tropical leaves and stuff on the bottom, so you really don't miss the feet, but I do kind of miss the little knobby knees. But I wanted to make this a much easier design, not have it holding anything this time, and this worked out way better. So again, I'm just covering the base with tropical leaves. I'm going to add one more this time. And I'm also going to be adding some larger ones as well, since this doesn't have as much going on now after it broke. But my holes are still ready here. I just add some hot glue to those on my pink flamingo and then carefully sit this on here, making sure that the hot glue has enough time to set up to really hold my flamingo in place. Not as cute as a design, but I guess it's definitely more practical. Now, I did want to add some taller tropical leaves here to the back. This is some other tropical foliage that I got from the Dollar Tree this year. And the colors are a brighter green, but they're also larger. So I thought a couple of these kind of behind the flamingo would be a really great tropical backdrop. And so I just cut this one down to size, and I'm just going to attach it with a little hot glue here at the base, but I'm also going to glue that onto the back of its leg so it will kind of stay in place with just a dot of hot glue right there. So it'll stand straight up. And I liked the look of that, so I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here on the other side. It really only needs 2 of these because they're pretty large. You could also use like Dollar Tree ferns and stuff like that, whatever you've got in your tropical stash. I keep finding these plastic pink flamingos at the Dollar Tree though, so they're pretty readily available at all of my stores. So this is how it turned out, our second attempt at the pink flamingo. This time not holding coffee, no sculpted legs, but I think it's still really cute and it makes quite a statement up there on the top shelf of my coffee bar. The next item is something that I got at Target on clearance. It is two flamingos hugging, and they have like wired legs that are kind of hooked together. I think they're so cute. And I'm always looking for pink flamingo items. See how they're hugging with their necks? And so this was a no brainer. I had to have it. They're made out of felt. As you can see, the design is adorable, and it fit perfectly between the sign and the pink flamingo to fill out the top of my coffee bar. And now moving down to the second shelf, I want to use another one of these Monstera placemats to on the other side though this time. So this is going to be on the left side above the bottom shelf because I want to do another plastic pink flamingo that will really pop against that tropical leaf background as well. For this one, I've got a different plan. So what I want to do is I want to make it standing in a bucket of coffee beans. The only problem is I didn't have any coffee beans. So we're going to try to DIY our own. I do have black beans. So I am going to just pour some of those out here in a box where I can spray paint them brown. I have some brown spray paint from Dollar General. So I think this is going to be a quick little coffee bean hack. I think that'll be enough to cover the top of my bucket. And I'm just going to spray them all brown. And I'm not going to worry about flipping them over. If I can get just most of them painted brown, I think that's going to be good. And this is going to make them really shiny too, make them look like roasted coffee beans. And this is the bucket we're using from the Dollar Tree. I just chose a plain pink bucket that's hot pink, like the pink flamingo. And then I cut down some Cricut vinyl. I will include the link to this SVG if you'd like to recreate. And it says cool beans. I thought that would be really fun because I think flamingos are kind of cool. And he's going to be standing in an entire bucket of pretend coffee beans. So I'm just weeding out my vinyl here. It is kind of a scripted font. And then using some transfer paper to attach this to the metal bucket. I thought the white vinyl would really pop against that bright pink bucket and really look nice. And I kind of wanted this pink flamingo to be wearing sunglasses. And I did buy the smallest pair of sunglasses that they have from the Dollar Tree, like for kids, but still too big. So I'm going to have to keep looking for some cool sunglasses for our little flamingo here. But I just used the transfer paper and I'm going to put this right on here. I love this saying. I think this is one of the sayings I said all the time as a teenager. Cool beans. So it made me laugh. And I just transfer our vinyl right on there and this little bucket is ready to go. I'm going to use one of the little round floral foam pieces. These fit perfectly in the Dollar Tree buckets. And I want to pile coffee on top of it. I don't want that green to show through. So I went ahead and painted it brown as well. I did not use spray paint on this because I know spray paint and foam does not get along. It kind of dissolves the styrofoam. And so I just used some acrylic paint and painted that. And then I'm going to put this in the bucket and I'm going to try to push it down a little bit so I have a little bit of room for our little faux coffee beans. The paint was still a little wet. I didn't want to use any heat on there because I didn't want the foam to melt. So that's just going to have to dry in its own. Now for this pink flamingo, I wanted this one to look different than the other ones. So I used white acrylic paint and a sponge and I am just rubbing that all over and then wiping off the excess here with a baby wipe. So this is going to be like a pink and white feather one. And we're also going to change up the colors of the legs and the beak on this one to do another variety of pink flamingo because I wanted a little variation. I didn't want two pink flamingos looking exactly the same. But look at that great texture that's on there that you can't see at all when it's all just pink. So I always like to paint my pink flamingos. I think that's a really fun little hack. And I did the back too because this is going to be a freestanding flamingo. You're going to be able to see both sides. So as you can see, it already has a different feel, distressing it with the white versus the candy pink. And then I'm going to use wood dowels for legs. I've learned my lesson. But this time I'm using like a magenta pink for the legs. And I'm also going to be adding that to the beak. This is another variation of flamingo. They don't all have orange legs and they're definitely not all the same color of pink. We actually saw a wild flamingo in Grand Turk over Christmas and it was actually white. So There are definitely some variations. And I am just going to use a small brush so I can paint this part of the beak pink to correspond with its legs. And as you can see, it definitely gives it a different vibe. My son was showing me a picture of some that even have a very, very soft yellow leg and beak, and it makes it look totally different, really pretty. I also painted the black tip just because everything else was kind of matte and that was glossy. So I used some black matte acrylic paint to paint that and also touched up the eye so it was nice and bold. I'm going to poke 2 holes just using my Cricut weeder. That plastic is so thin, it's really easy to cut this. And then again, I'm going to make an X in each one so my wood dowels will fit in there tightly. And I add a little hot glue here before adding one of my wood dowels. I stick it in there about 1/4 of an inch or so. You can do it however much you need to do. I had to make mine a specific height for my coffee bar so it will fit in there. And then I just used a screwdriver to poke 2 holes into my foam to make this easier and added some hot glue to those and added my pink flamingo legs down inside the brown styrofoam. So this is the start of it. And now I've let my beans sit aside. So now we have some brown beans and I'm just going to try to hot glue most of them down. Some of them will definitely be stacked, but I thought if I would hot glue them down, they would be more likely to stay in place and I would get better coverage. So I try to just do one section here at a time. And I really wanted to go all the way to the edge to try to cover up any of the foam that might be visible. And they definitely don't look exactly like coffee beans, but hey, I think I did pretty good with what I had on hand. So that is the front of the bucket. I'm going to go ahead and fill up the back too. I really did the perfect amount of black beans here for our coffee beans because I was able to fill up the bucket really nice and full. Once I got the entire base hot glue down, I just kind of started stacking them together because I didn't really want any hot glue that was going to be visible anywhere. And this is how it turned out. Our little pink flamingo standing in coffee beans, and it says cool beans. Very whimsical and cute, and I'm glad it had a coffee theme to go with my coffee bar. Now for the next DIY, I'm going to take one of the pink flamingo summer cups. They have a lid and a screw like this. I am just going to use the pink flamingo itself. And I wanted to make a little holder for my coffee stirrer sticks. But I did want to get rid of this top part where the lid screwed on. So just using a razor blade, I'm going to cut that off. Now I do have one of those heated razor blades, but I've removed the blade from it and then I can't find the blade. So I ordered more blades and I still don't know where they're at. I'm telling you. My age, my age. So I'm just having to make do with a regular razor blade, and it is easy to cut, but I think that the hot knife would have really just melted this and made this so much easier because I had a hard time trying to get this relatively smooth, but I was able to get it. It's now shorter, so it's going to be the right size to hold my little coffee stirrers. I don't like the way that the beak is painted because it's only painted black on top, not all the way around. So I'm just going to touch that up really quick. That's really the only detail I'm going to add to this. I'm going to leave the feathers and everything as is. I do touch up the eye a little bit to make it a little bit bolder here with a black paint pen. But that's really the only detail I'm going to add to this. I think it's really cute as is. And I think it's going to be a really cute holder for these little coffee stir sticks. It's going to be on the bottom shelf there, so it's going to be easy to reach these. And it gives it a fun coffee theme for our coffee bar. This is how it looks on my coffee bar. And I decided to display that little cup of coffee that we couldn't use before with this pink flamingo. It's a perfect size for it. So I kind of set those together here on the bottom shelf. Now, the next DIY, I wanted to make a pink flamingo sign. I wanted it to be really tropical and fun. So I'm going to use a paper cutout from the Dollar Tree, a wood sign from the Dollar Tree, and one of these tropical bags for a backdrop. I thought that would be really cute. I don't really need the hangers on this, so what I'm going to do is just remove those and save those for another DIY. And I don't really like the fact that the frame is super dark, so I'm going to change the color on that as well. I just went ahead and cut out a rectangular size shape of this bag, bigger than what I'm going to need. so that I can cut that down to size. And I want to use that for the back of this. Now, I don't know if I've ever done that before with these plastic bags from the Dollar Tree. I did have a little bit of problems with getting it to stick to the sign. But what I do is I'm just going to cut this with my paper cutter. I was trying to get some straight lines, and I am not used to this paper cutter. I broke my old one, my Cricut one. I was so mad I couldn't find another one. And then I'm going to try to measure the length here and just start where I want this one cut on the opposite side and line this up and cut this one as well. And I'm going to just trim this down until it fits in there perfectly. Now, the problems that I had with the bag itself is the plastic coating. I end up using Mod Podge to attach it to the sign, but I do have some difficulty with it getting it to stick. So maybe I should have used a stickier glue like a tacky glue or something like this, because it was really kind of hard to glue this on, but I think it's really pretty and it did make a perfect tropical background for this. I've got it trimmed down almost perfectly to size there. I think that looks good. And again, I do want to brighten up the frame a little bit. So I'm just going to take some ivory paint and a sponge and just distress this with that lighter color, letting some of the wood grain come through, but just brightening it because I don't really have any dark woods anywhere on this coffee bar. And that just made it way more neutral. So that was a pretty easy fix for that. And then we are going to use Mod Podge to attach the sign. Again, I'm thinking the Mod Podge may have, I mean, it did end up working in the end, but it was a little challenging getting it to stick for sure. And I did use a lot of Mod Podge, as you can see. I'm just going to lay that on there and use a paper towel to try to smooth that out, trying to get rid of any bubbles and dry up any glue that kind of seeped out along the sides of this. And then I noticed it really wasn't sticking at the corners here, so I added more Mod Podge and tried to smooth that out as well. And I just found that, I don't know, it just still was not sticking like I would like. So I'm going to really just up the Mod Podge down here and place that back down. One other thing I found about DIYing with these plastic bags like this was you can't use your heat gun because it melts. So you have to kind of let your Mod Podge and stuff like that dry on its own. So I added more Mod Podge to the top there, as you can see. And then I went over the top of it with more Mod Podge, hoping that that would seal it down and really start to make that stick to the back of the sign. And that definitely seemed to help. I was definitely using a lot of Mod Podge, so it was kind of coming out at the seams there. This is the pink flamingo that I'm going to use. They have several different variations of these from the Dollar Tree. This is the perfect size for this side. It's a little pink flamingo with a tropical backdrop. And I just add more Mod Podge to our side where I'm going to glue that down. And I just make sure to smooth that out, trying to make sure that I don't touch that with anything wet. And I just use a dry paper towel to try to smooth that out and try not to get any bubbles or anything like that. I want to make sure everything is down. And then I went over it with some more Mod Podge. It's a pretty thick cardboard material, so it did take Mod Podge pretty well. And just trying to make sure that got sealed. I let that dry and then came back in with some more. And again, I was really wanting to use my heat gun, but I knew that it was going to melt. So I had to try to just wait between coats of Mod Podge, but I was able to get it to work. And here is our little tropical pink flamingo sign. I think this looks perfect on this side of the coffee bar to fill out the rest of this coffee bar up here. But I do have room in front of it for some smaller things. So I found one of the light up pink flamingos from the Dollar Tree. I thought that'd be perfect. I love this. It's one of my favorite things. They can be hard to find. And I'm going to put that right here in front of this sign. He's got a beautiful look on his face with his feathers up. I love him. And he's a fun light that you can light up as well. And this is how he looks in front of that pink flamingo sign. And then I have room for one more pink flamingo. This is one of the little mini ceramic planters from the Dollar Tree that is a pink flamingo design. And I'm going to use it for my sweeteners for my coffee bar. So it's not only going to be cute, it's going to be functional. I just put my sweeteners in there and this is ready to go. So it kind of shows you the scale. It's definitely a tiny little planter pot, but for $1.25, I could not resist this for sure. And this is how it looks on my coffee bar. It finished off that bottom shelf of the coffee bar. Now, the next thing that I want to DIY are some coffee mugs. So I picked up just some plain white. I couldn't find any pink mugs from the Dollar Tree. And some of these ceramic stickers, they have pink flamingo ones. I thought this would be perfect. I don't even have to use my Cricut for this. So I'm just going to peel and stick. It says stand tall. The only problem is I wanted 3 cups and I could only find 2 of the ceramic stickers at Dollar Tree. So I'm going to do 2 in a pink flamingo and I'm going to do 1 in something else just because it's necessary. But if you could get enough to do all of them, it would be so cute. The good things are going to happen. This one has tropical leaves on it, so I think that will work too. And who doesn't like that message? So I'll just put that one in the middle of the 2 pink flamingos. I have a little bar here under that bottom shelf that hangs coffee mugs to make them really accessible to my coffee bar. And I think they look really cute on there. And I think this is the first time I've used ceramic stickers on a mug like this. So I'll have to let you know how they hold up. Now for the top shelf, I always like to do some kind of a garland or something. I thought I would use a lei, a pink glitter lei from the Dollar Tree. For that, I thought that'd be really simple. So I just cut my lei and glued the string to the flower itself. So I have one end stopped. And then I'm going to take this to my coffee bar and measure exactly how big I want it, cutting it down to size, and again, hot gluing the string to the flower itself. And I have a really easy little garland to go on the top shelf. I think it's really going to go with the pink flamingo theme well. I just used a dot of hot glue on each side of my shelf to attach it up here at the top. And I really love how this is coming together. Now for the second shelf, I also want to do the same thing. So for this one, I'm using the tropical leaf lei from the Dollar Tree. And again, same thing, I just cut it, glue the string to one of the leaves here to stop that end. And then I'm going to take this to my shelf and measure this one. So it will kind of go down in front of the coffee mugs a little bit, but not too far. I don't want anything to be blocked. I cut this one down to size and secure it with hot glue here at the end. And I attach this one the same way. I just use a dot of hot glue on each side and attach this to my bottom shelf, and it looks so tropical and fun. That is the last DIY. I actually found some pink flamingo travel coffee mugs to go down below on my coffee bar, but I think I forgot to show you those. But this is how it all looks together. I think it's really fun. Pink flamingo, tropical for summer, just a perfect theme. And I'm so glad that I thought of pink flamingos for my coffee bar. What do you guys think about this one? I really love it. I think it's so sweet. My husband looked at it this morning and he said it's too pink. And I said, too bad. This is how it looked. And if you're enjoying today's video so far, be sure to hit that like button. It really helps. And don't forget to subscribe. Now I have some more pink flamingo DIYs that I've made here on my channel. So we're going to move on to a flamingo tier tray. I want to give you some smaller flamingo DIY ideas. They have these little tinsel flamingos every year. I'm not a fan of the tinsel, and I didn't really want to wrap it, but I thought maybe we could update the colors a little bit, make it look a little less sparkly. And so I just mixed some red and white together, just some chalk paint. It doesn't have to be chalk paint. I just wanted something to kind of dry with more of a matte finish, because it's got that, really super sparkly, like almost like glittery effect in there. And I just kind of want it to be one color. And I love these little flamingos. I always try to pick them up, even though I'm not a fan of the tinsel ones. But I peeled off the little googly eyes on this one as well. And I'm just painting the pink part, this nice, like medium pink color. And that did take away that sparkle. You can also see the sparkle like in the little orange legs. And I really wasn't going for that feel for my little flamingo tier tray. So I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to use this pumpkin color was the color I used. It doesn't have to be chalk paint, but that is what I had. And I'm going to go over the legs. It's a perfect little leg color for a flamingo and paint that as well. So wanted to give you an idea of how you kind of update these a little bit without having to remake the whole thing, but I'm still going to get that fun flamingo vibe. And then I kind of want the orange to be on the beak on this one. So I'm going to, instead of just making it all black like it was before, I use that same color that we used on the legs for part of the flamingo beak. And I'm just not really going to do googly eyes on this. I just don't think it's really necessary. And the only part I still have that's still sparkly is the black tip to the beak. So I just go over that with some black paint too. And it turned out pretty cute. Just a simple little makeover to this guy. And he is ready for my tier tray. The next DIY, I found these cute little pink flamingo flip-flops from the Dollar Tree. I got a small kid size. It's going to fit well on my tier tray, I think. I just removed the little plastic parts. I think that makes them look a little bit cheap. Then kind of tone down the plastic texture of the flip-flop, make it a little bit more matte finish. I do go over them with just a little bit of matte Mod Podge, totally optional. This is me being extra. And then I'm going to replace the little flip-flop parts with some Dollar Tree decorative nautical rope there. I think that's going to look nice, coastal, and beachy and fun. But I did go over it with several coats of the Mod Podge to kind of take down that plastic shiny look. So this is just a matter of getting this to fit. I use kind of the original ones for reference, so I know about how long to make at least one side of it, right? So I'm just going to string that through from the front, through the hole, like that. And then string it through one side, and then I'll just kind of have to get creative for the other side. So just trying to keep your rope, I taped this one just to make it easier, just because, it's kind of a thicker rope and there's not much of a hole there. And so I do the same thing here on the other side. I take a piece and string that in, and then I just hot glue it here since there's not enough room for another piece of rope to go through there. But it's still going to give you that fun little flip-flop feel, and I love the little pink flamingos and hearts all over. I think that's super cute. So just kind of, making those kind of look like they're arched the right way. And we're going to do the second one the same. I just tape each end of the rope first just to make sure that it doesn't fray. It makes it easier, definitely, to feed it through. And it's so wide that tension's going to kind of keep it in there. You didn't have to knot it or anything like that or secure it too much. But I do the same thing here on this side, and we have two little flip-flops. Now, I thought I kind of want to make sure that they stay together, so I do hot glue them to each other just to kind of make it one piece. Now, the next DIY for $1, I found this cute little pink flamingo ice pack at Dollar General, so even cheaper than the Dollar Tree. And when I'm looking for something for a tier tray, I look for anything and everything with a shape of a pink flamingo, and that's why I chose this ice pack. First, I was going to use some of that brown rope from the Dollar Tree, but I realized that was way too thick. It was never going to work. So I used this tiny jute twine from the Dollar Tree, and I just started it at the beak with a little bit of hot glue and winding that around. And, it is thin jute twine, so it is definitely going to take a ton of winding to cover this up, but I thought it would be really cute if I had just this little jute wrapped flamingo. So I'm going to speed this way up, but as you can see, it can go around all of those little flexible joints. It's so fast. And I go around whatever parts I can easily wrap the first time, just moving my way down the flamingo. Whenever you get to the end, like a foot or something like that, a little hot glue is going to help keep that in place. But put on a good song or a YouTube video or something, because it's going to take you a while to wind this if you're able to find one of these. But I thought it was super fun, even though it was a little bit time consuming with all of that wrapping. That's why I usually use a rope for these kind of projects instead of the jute twine. So I'm going to go ahead and do the tail part now. I did the feet before. And I'm just trying to cover up as much of the pink as I can with my initial wrap of this. But there are some like awkward areas that you can still see that I can't really get to real easily. And I try to fill them in the best that I can, but it does take a little hot glue here and there to kind of keep them in place. And then I switch directions, and that definitely helps fill up some of the pink parts. And I just keep wrapping and wrapping, filling in the ends as well until I can't see any more pink. And this was time consuming, but I think it turned out really cool. Once I got it all wound, we'll slow it down here. I'm gonna burn off all the fuzzies with just a lighter, and you can kind of see how cool this actually turned out, wrapping it with some of the jute twine from the Dollar Tree. Now, this was a cute little flamingo dish that I found at Dollar Tree. We're going to have to DIY that in a second, but I also found a flamingo puzzle. This was like in the kids' like art section, and it's one of these just little wood pop-out flamingo puzzles. I was kind of surprised how many pieces were actually in this, but basically you just pop all the little wood pieces out. You also have to pop out the little tabs. And there are very detailed directions here to put this together. And your girl is gonna follow directions because that's what we do, right? So I follow my directions, and this was really actually fun to put together. I don't think I'd ever put one of these together before. And it was really cute, actually, I think, to be from the Dollar Tree. So definitely don't be afraid to check out like the kids aisle, the kids crafting stuff, because sometimes they have some cool stuff like this one. So we're going to put this together. I decided to assemble mine before I'm going to paint it because I was afraid the paint would make it thicker and the pieces maybe would not fit together like they're supposed to. So I'm just putting this together all wood, and then I'll show you. I do end up like painting or staining it, and I did find a technique that actually worked pretty well for this, kind of an experiment. But it kind of stays together by friction. Most of the pieces were cut pretty well. You might need to use a little hot glue here and there if you find that things don't stick. I use a little wood glue here at the end, just to make sure that this isn't going to fall apart on me. And the only pieces that I really have left are some of the base pieces. It does come with a little base to stand it up, which is going to be helpful for my tier tray, but it is a great height. I'm going to actually, I think, put this on the top of this tier tray. So here is the little base with some little palm fronds, tropical things sticking out and about. And it's probably easier than it looks putting this together, but it was fun. So there is our little puzzled pink flamingo, right? But I wanted it to be pink. So I didn't think the base was going to be strong enough. So the first thing I do is just glue it to a wood block. This is one of those Jenga blocks from Five Below, which I never made it there this year. I wonder if they still have some. Now this is my DIY paint. What I did was I took pink acrylic paint, put it in a spray bottle, half and half with water, and then I just sprayed. That way I can get in like all the nooks and crannies of the puzzle, and because there's no way you're going to be able to paint this with a brush. And it actually worked out pretty well. So I just stained it all over and then gave it a dry with my heat gun. It gives you that like light wood stain. And so once I got it dry, I do go over it with another coat of my DIY, I guess, spray paint. And that worked well. Okay, the next couple items, I found a little pink tropical plant from Target Dollar Spot. And then I also found a dancing flamingo, one of those little light activated ones at Dollar Tree. Now, I didn't want it to look like a plastic kid's toy, so I'm going to go around the entire base of this and just fill it in with some of that reindeer moss from the Dollar Tree. I was attaching it with school glue because I was trying not to melt like the little plastic part. And it didn't stick great. I did go back with like some spray adhesive from Dollar Tree as well to try to make it kind of keep its shape. Basically, I just want to kind of disguise the plastic there at the bottom. And then that kind of made it wet enough where I could add some more on there. And then I didn't really want it to look super cheap like plastic, right? So to take away a little bit of the sheen, it helps a little bit to do this. I just did a little matte Mod Podge over my dancing flamingo, and that's just me probably being extra, but I still think he turned out cute. The next item is one of the solar light flamingos. I had to test it to see if it worked. I just basically took it off the solar light stake, and then I thought we would make a little base for it to stand on. It'd be perfect for the tier tray. Now, I had one of those little chunky wood circles from the Dollar Tree that I'd used on a previous project that I just painted gray. It's going to match my galvanized metal tier tray. So I just hot glue that to the bottom, and then go around and just kind of hot glue all around to kind of make a texture like water. Now, while that sets up a little bit, I found these little pink flamingo boxes at the Dollar Tree too, and I don't have to do anything to them. They are perfect and ready to go. Now, with the water, I let the glue set up, and I'm going to go over that base with blue to kind of make it look like water and kind of paint all over. Now, I did that so it would kind of like look like ripples on the top of the water, that the flamingo was like out sitting in the water. I thought that'd be a fun idea, and it would also serve the purpose to make it like, you know, stand up on its own. I don't know how well like my light inside will charge this, but it's still cute. Cute project for a DIY, and I do go over it with some lighter blues just to kind of make the water look a little bit more realistic, but just a fun, easy little pink flamingo DIY. I try to buy anything and everything pink flamingo at the Dollar Tree. And just like the other one, I go over it with some of the matte Mod Podge just to kind of tone down the plastic feel a little bit. This year, they also have the little light up pink flamingos that switch on that I used for some of my Christmas videos and stuff like that. I was able to find some more of those the other day. They're so cute. They just have a switch that turns them on, and they're kind of like the material of like a rubber ducky or something like that. They always had them at the checkout when I found them at the Dollar Tree. They're super cute. So I just kind of distressed mine with a little bit different shades of pink just to make it look a little bit better. I distressed my water a little bit too. We're just going for a fun little art piece here. I think the paint in the Mod Podge does help things have a little bit more texture, look a little bit less like a toy. They also have these great pink flamingo, I guess gold flamingo, napkins at the Dollar Tree. And this tier tray was going on my kitchen table, so this is going to be perfect to sit there. I'm also going to use my little Adirondack ketchup and mustard holder that I got at the Target Dollar Spot to hold my salt and pepper shakers. And then I wanted to do a wood bead garland. So I got wood beads on Amazon. These are just the plain ones, and we're going to paint them ourselves and kind of do a custom bright summery wood bead garland with a flamingo theme. So just mixing some colors together, some pinks and oranges. I found a little pink flamingo lip gloss from the Dollar Tree that I thought would be perfect for the end of a wood bead garland. And so I like to use those little skewers when I paint these. But you know, Dollar Tree has some great painted wood beads now where you don't have to paint them yourself, but you might not be able to find them in custom colors like this if you wanted to do your own thing. But these wood beads I did kind of in that same salmon color that little pink flamingo lip gloss is on. But I also wanted bright pink for like all the pink flamingo stuff that we have going on that tier tray. So I do some of them in this color. I think this is called like pink parfait. And the skewers definitely help. Painting these is not always my favorite thing, but we're going to make it work. Now, I also painted the bottom of the lip gloss there, that same color, just because I think it was white before. So I was just kind of trying to show you that as well. But I also want to add like green tropical leaves and stuff like that on here for the pink flamingo theme. So I wanted some dark green as well. So I mixed some green, some black together to give me a nice dark green color. And we're going to do some of them in the green as well. And this is going to be a really cute little flamingo theme wood bead garland. I think it's going to be the perfect touch for this tier tray. I used to make a lot more of these would-be garlands than I do anymore. I really love how they turned out. So there's our little flamingo. I think that this is ready to start putting it together. I just used some Dollar Tree twine and a large needle, and I just start stringing them into a pattern. I do want to use some natural wood in there too. And once I, pick a pattern, I just keep repeating that pattern all the way down till I think it is long enough and I've used all of my painted beads. And I think those colors look so pretty together. Perfect for summer. So I hot glue the little lip gloss to the end. He has a little crown, so it gave me the perfect place to hot glue that to my final wood bead. And then I just take that same twine, wrap it around all four of my fingers till it's thick enough, and tie that to the other end. We're gonna make a really easy little DIY tassel. Don't be afraid to make these. They're actually pretty easy. I know I'm totally not working where you can see me, but all I did was just tie that off to the end and then wrap around the top to do the top part of the tassel. Put my needle back on there and string it through to finish that off. Then cut the tassel, trimming it down to size however long that you want it. And that was it. The next thing we're going to do is just a quick little flamingo sign. Kind of wanted to do a custom color on this one too. So I mixed pink and orange together because I kind of wanted that fun salmon color that we used before. And this is just a Dollar Tree wood sign. This is kind of one of the chunkier ones. It's got this great detail around the sides, and I think it's going to be the perfect size for a little sign for our flamingo tier tray. So we just kind of paint that all over. I want to use some of those rub-on transfers. They seem to have these all the time for summer. They have pink flamingos on there, so I thought this would be really easy DIY. I'm going to cut out the big gold pink flamingo and then also the words "Hello Summer" here at the top. And these are those kind that you just peel and then you have to rub off. I'm using one of those little Cricut scrapers and pull that off. And I think that metallic gold against that beautiful coral salmon color is so pretty. And I do the same thing there with the flamingo. Now I thought it was a little bit more orange than pink. So I do go back with pink, and I am just going to do the edges with pink just to kind of bring out, and more color and kind of make it look a little bit framed. That way it'll kind of go with those wood beads that we just made where we have that coral color, but we also have a brighter pink color as well. And I'm not taping it off or anything. I just kind of go around. You can kind of feel where your edges are there. And then to make it stand up, I'm just going to glue a wood block to the back, and we're going to have a quick, easy little flamingo sign. And I love that. I use a combination of wood glue and hot glue and just glue that to the back, and it stands up on its own, just like that. Now, I couldn't figure out how to make this stand up where you could see it. So I took some of those little Dollar Tree blocks, and I'm going to make kind of like a little fence or something to go behind it just by gluing those together, because I wanted everybody to be able to see this cute little flamingo on my tier tray. And if I laid it down, it has sides on my tier tray. I didn't think you were going to be able to see it. So I just hot glue my little pink flamingo to the front of those wood blocks. And even though that's not what I really wanted to do with it, it did work. And we'll kind of disguise that with some ferns and stuff like that when we go to fill in and decorate it. And these are the ferns that we used on the reef. I'm just going to cut down pieces just by cutting these off. And we're just going to use this for filler. It's a perfect filler for a pink flamingo tier tray. And of course, we have to have some flowers too. So I also picked out just some pink flowers from the Dollar Tree. These are the dahlias, and I think the colors are perfect. Now, this is the tier tray that we're going to decorate here. My 3-tier galvanized metal tier tray. And look how cute that little puzzle turned out. I think he is the star of the show. We're going to put him on top, But I also really love the twine ice pack. I don't think anybody would know that that was actually an ice pack underneath it. And our little flamingo, the little tray, it's so cute. I've only seen that a couple times at the Dollar Tree, but I think it's really beautiful. And then I'll just fill that up with some some fronds of the fern here and there, a little pink flower here and there, until we get the top of this nice and full. Now for the second tier, we're going to go in with our little dancing flamingo and that little pink tropical plant that I got at the Target dollar spot, a little flamingo box. I am going to put some wood blocks underneath of it just to stand it up a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. And here is the little solar light flamingo that we DIY'd and our little wood bead garland. So cute. I thought we would string these here. It's not a super long one, but kind of hanging off the side so you can see that cute little flamingo there at the end. I love that. It's actually a lip gloss, so that's super funny. And then we'll go in and use filler on this tier as well, filling it in with some of the fern, some of the pink flowers, and I think we'll make this look nice and tropical. Now, this is the largest area down here, so we're going to put our little flip-flops. They are perfect size. They'll stand up on their own just by friction. Our little tinsel flamingo that we gave just a quick little paint makeover. I'm just going to use a little wood sign that I have just to kind of stand up my little flamingo napkins so that you can see them, but they're still accessible here on my kitchen table. Our little Hello Summer sign that we just DIY'd, and my little Adirondack chair that I'm going to use for my salt and pepper. It's going to go with that tropical summer vibe. And then just fill in the rest of the area with the ferns and the pink flowers from Dollar Tree. This was so easy to put together, this pink flamingo tier tray, and I hope I gave you some crafting ideas with this. And this is how this one turned out. I think it's so cute. Again, whenever I see a pink flamingo at Dollar Tree or Dollar Spot, you know your girl's gonna grab it because I have a thing for pink flamingos. I admit it. They're like so cute. They're my favorite. And I think this turned out so cute. It was a fun, whimsical pink flamingo tier tray. And I wanted to share this with you to give you some more crafting inspiration. This was a really fun theme, and I really had so much fun putting it together. As you can see, I found so many pink flamingo items that I was able to put together to really create something really fun. It's been a while since I've done a 3-tier tray from the Dollar Tree. They definitely require a lot more items, but look at all of the cute pink flamingos. I am in love. I love it. And now it's time for the final reveal. I hope you enjoyed this Pink Flamingo DIYs today. Please let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments below. And don't forget to check out my second channel, Crafty Little Beach, for individual DIYs on your phone. Enjoy the final reveal.
Side by side we sway there in all the colors. Summer love, lonesome dove, folded on the lawn chair in all the colors. Summer love. Remember when we were getting nowhere? That's sure something I could use. A cure for the air conditioning blues. Could use some too. A little bit of sunlight.
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's Pink Flamingo DIY video. I'd also like to give a huge thank you to all of my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, I Am Mojo Jojo, Marin Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Donna Tanner, Kim Rogers, Maria Cruz Pagan, Pal Puppy Life, Renee Albanese, Lori Hollingsworth, Mindy Hupp, and Jenny. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you would like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member, all you have to do is hit the join button next to today's video on your computer or your phone. You're going to get early ad-free access to my content here on YouTube, a badge next to your name when you comment down below, and a shout out in every video. I'd also love to see what you've been crafting. Make sure to share your DIYs with the class. We have a private Facebook group. I always have it linked in the description of my videos, as well as chapters in all of my videos, so you can join in the crafting fun. Now, if you would like more Pink Flamingo crafting inspiration, I've got you covered. Check out one of these videos that I've done this year on my channel. And until next time, happy crafting.